Hi, everybody. This is Julie Kaley, broker owner of Merced Homes Realty located in Merced, California. Thank you for joining me on this live call today. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be discussing HUD Homes, how to buy a HUD home, and also sharing with you our current HUD home inventory. So you're not going to see me up on the screen the whole entire time because I want to be able to show you some of the properties that we have for sale. So let's get started today. Again, I really appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and mute the camera. You'll still be able to hear me, but I want to be able to be sure to screen share with you guys some of the different links I'm going to be talking about, as well as photos of some of our properties. So whenever I do a broadcast on HUD Homes, I always like to go over the basics to start, if you will. So the first thing that I like to go over with people is, what is a HUD home? And the reason why I like to go over that many times is it's still an essential question that I get on almost a weekly basis. I get phone calls and people ask me, what is a HUD home and who can buy a HUD home? So I'm going to go over with you the definition of what is a HUD home that is put forth by our asset manager, BLB Resources. What is a HUD home? A home that has gone into mortgage default with a loan that was insured by the Federal Housing Administration, or FHA, is referred to as a HUD home. When this occurs, the lender takes possession of the property and conveys ownership to HUD. HUD then sells the home through their asset management contractor, such as BLB Resources. A HUD home may be a single family house, a townhouse, a condominium, a mobile home, or a multiple family attached home up to 4 units. So that's the definition of a HUD home. And the next question I get is, who can buy a HUD home, or how do I buy a HUD home? How do I go about it? So a HUD home can be purchased by any person, company, HUD-approved nonprofit, or government entity that can secure financing or pay cash for the property. So it's not a seller financing program, but as we'll talk about, the HUD homes are geared to go with FHA financing, but they will also go with other financing just depending on the type of property. People such as myself, who are local listing brokers, are affiliates, owners, managers, sales agents, brokers, and family members and business partners of the aforementioned are all prohibited from purchasing any HUD home. Employees of a HUD contractor or subcontractor and their family members are also prohibited from purchasing a HUD home. So anybody can buy a HUD home as long as you don't have that conflict of interest that I just mentioned and you're able to secure financing or pay cash for a property. We do have quite a few HUD homes available in our inventory right now, so I'm really excited to be sharing that with everybody today. Those are the two typical questions that I get, is what is a HUD home and how can I buy a HUD home? How will you know if a property that's listed for sale is actually a HUD home? Well, all of my particular listings have a HUD home rider on the signs, and they're also identified in the MLS as being a HUD home. And we actually use the word HUD home on all of our marketing. It may be a little bit different in different areas of the state or country, but if you are in the Merced County area or that kind of middle part of the Central Valley, that is how we do it in our area. So that is an important way to distinguish the HUD homes from other properties. When HUD takes over a property, they give it to their asset manager, and in my case, that's BLB Resources, and then I'm contracted with BLB Resources as a local listing broker to list their homes on the market. HUD will do some inspections and an appraisal to determine what they should list the property at, and also to determine what the eligibility of financing is for that property. Just depending on the condition, it will determine what type of financing that property is eligible for. And along with that goes different time frames. So it's a really important piece of information. And when they go to list the properties, they're going to give it one of 4 different distinctions. The first one is called insurable, and it's abbreviated IN. And these are properties that will go FHA 203B, which is a standard FHA loan. So it has little to possibly no MPRs, minimum property requirements. The next one is called IE, insured with escrow. And this, in my experience, has been what a majority of the properties have fallen under that I've personally sold in the last 5 or 6 years with BOB and HUD. And what it is they will go FHA 203B with an escrow holdback. And what that means is anything that is identified on the buyer's appraisal for health and safety or anything else that appraiser feels that they have to call out will have to be set up as an escrow holdback. HUD will not do any repairs. They sell all the properties as is, and they will not allow any buyers to come and do any repairs prior to the close of escrow. So the way we get around that is we set up what's called repair escrow. And the way that works is once the appraisal is done, the lender now has a list of items that are identified on that FHA appraisal, and those will be shared with the buyer. The buyer can go out and hire the contractor of their choice to come over and give them a bid, not to actually do the repairs yet, but to actually give them a bid for all those items that are called out, and then that bid gets submitted back to the lender, and then the lender holds back that certain dollar amount plus 10% in order to allow for any overages. And then the property can go on and close without the repairs being done. Once the property closes, the lender holds back that dollar amount and then disperses it to the contractor after they have verified that the work is done post-closing. We can typically do escrow holdbacks up to $5,000 total, with allowing a 10% overage. And the buyer does get to use a contractor of their choice. And remember, this is only for FHA loans. If the buyer is getting conventional or some other type of financing, then this escrow holdback would not apply. It is typically only for FHA loans, for a buyer utilizing an FHA loan. I have seen some cases where there have been some conventional holdbacks. But when we're talking about it for our HUD properties, we're specifically talking about FHA loans. Now remember, that's a buyer paid escrow holdback. The seller does not give the credit to a buyer for the repairs. It is up to that buyer to either include that holdback amount in their financing or to bring in those additional funds into title. So that again is the buyer's responsibility. The next category is UI, or uninsurable, and these are properties that typically will not qualify for FHA financing. They might go conventional or cash or private money or some sort of alternative financing, and this is determined that they've have minimum property repair requirements over $5,000, or perhaps they've got some other issue that will allow it not to go FHA financing. And the last category is UK, which is uninsurable but possibly 203K eligible. And FHA 203K is a rehab loan that is specifically for owner occupants. And sometimes we might get a property that's got minimum property repairs over the $5,000, but it might be workable to do a 203K loan. So those are still good options to do FHA financing. FHA 203K is a little bit different than the 203B in the process. So if you are going to be purchasing one of those properties or one of our HUD properties with FHA 203K financing, which is a great option on a lot of them, we just need to know so we can make sure that your lender is experienced with 203K and that we can answer any questions they might have up front so that we make sure that it goes through the process correctly, because we don't want to get 45 or 60 days into this and then have to start over, because sometimes those FHA 203K loans can take about 60 days to complete. So it's a great option for our HUD homes, and I encourage you to look into that if you see a property that is going to need some work or is in that UK status. So once the property hits the market, HUD does give priority to owner-occupant bidders. And what that means is when it comes on the market, there's going to be a certain time frame set aside where only owner-occupant buyers can bid. So this is done for a couple of reasons, but the main one is because HUD wants to encourage home ownership and for these properties to be purchased by owner occupants. So priority is given to owner occupants. So if you're an owner occupant and have been bidding on properties and getting outbid by investors, you should certainly consider HUD Homes because we have a blockout period where only owner occupants or nonprofits or government agencies can make bids on the properties and investors are not allowed to. And that time frame varies from 5 days to 15 days, just depending on that condition and that insurability. But the great thing is all this information is listed on HUDHomestore.com, which we're going to talk about shortly. So I hope that you're being able to digest all this information. I know it's a lot of information that I'm putting out there all at once. But if you ever have any questions about it, please feel free to give myself a call. Again, my name is Julie Kaley, and I'm the broker owner of Merced Homes Realty. And you can reach me at 209-385-1200. And you can find me online as well, mercedhomesrealty.com. That's MERCEDHOMES.com, mercedhomesrealty.com. And you can contact me through my website via email as well. So I look forward to hearing from everybody and being able to answer any questions that you might have, whether you're an agent or a buyer, regarding HUD Homes and the HUD home buying process in general, or a specific question on one of my properties. And oftentimes I get calls from lenders as well asking, how does that holdback work? So I'm happy to help anybody that I can with those particular questions. And I also have information that I can send over in writing, seller handbooks, lender guides, frequently asked questions, all those types of things. BLB Resources puts a great effort forward to give us all of these educational materials so that we can be sure to share them with our real estate community. And they're very comprehensive in nature as well. So I'm happy to share those with you. And I actually do have a link to most of those documents on my website as well. So feel free to visit me there. But if you prefer to call, I'm happy to speak with you as well. So once HUD has determined the insurability and the timeframes of who can make the offer on the property, they will send it over to the local listing broker such as myself, and we will list it on the market. So all of my HUD homes get listed on the MLS, which means they populate to Realtor.com, to Trulia, to Zillow, and then we also do a lot of additional marketing that really puts that property out there. So if we've got an active HUD home, you're going to know about it if you're in the home buying market in my area. And the main website also that HUD runs, where the offers actually get inputted and that houses all of the information about the properties, is called HUDHomestore.com, and that's HUD, H-U-D, home, H-O-M-E, store, S-T-O-R-E.com. And that's a really important website, so please be sure to go ahead and write it down, because it is very valuable in the fact that that's where all of the realtors have to go in order to put in our offers as well. So I'm sharing that screen with you guys actually right now, so I hope everybody can see it okay. It's HUDHomestore.com. So this is where the actual offers are going to get submitted and where you can also search for properties. So I want to start by just showing you around a little bit. So if we scroll down, we're going to come to this horizontal gray search box, and I'm going to pull up the properties that are available in my market right now. Remember, I told you I was going to share with you what we had on the market in Merced County. So I drop down to California, I type in Merced, because I'm going to show you all of Merced County, and I hit search. And I scroll down and I've actually got 4 properties on here. The first one is in the lottery system, so that means it's not yet put on the MLS. So if I click on this, you'll see who is eligible to bid on it: nonprofit and government agencies only. And there's a couple of reasons for this property. Is a fire damaged property. So that's probably going to be more of a investor type of property. So let's go on to the next one. I want to just start showing you how to navigate HUD Home Store, and where to find information. So this next one here, I'm just hovering over the case number. And when I click on that case number, it's going to pull up all the details for this particular property. I just clicked on it. And right here, where it says eligible bidders, it says owner occupants, nonprofits, and government agencies. The bid submission deadline is 5/30/2016. So that's Memorial Day, Monday. And the time left is 5 days, 8 hours, and 30 minutes. So if we continue to scroll down, to the left here, you're going to see it scrolling through the photos that I've taken of the property and submitted to HUD. On the right-hand side, kind of in the middle here, is the property address, 3841 Claremont Court, Merced, California, 95348. It's in Merced County. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,100 square feet, built in 1980. If I scroll over just a little bit more, it has the list date. We're in the exclusive period, meaning only owner-occupant, nonprofit, and government agencies can bid on it. So that means no investors. The period deadline, the list price, $239,000, and it is i.e. insured escrow. So there is the potential for an escrow holdback on this property. So if we go to the next, so on the top here, that was the property info tab. If we go across, each one of these are different menus that have different information. So we'll click on amenities and scroll right back over here. And it tells us that it has a 2-car garage and is on a slab foundation. If we go to the next one, under addendums, there's all kinds of great information that HUD puts out for us. So we've got a lot of general information, but then we also have some specific to this property information. This first document here is disclosure. And if I click on it, it's going to come up with all of the disclosures that HUD feels like they need to give over to the buyer. So if I click on it here, what I see is that it is in a special flood hazard zone, and it could possibly require insurance. It's got an unpermitted addition. It has a water softener. It needs smoke detectors in 3 of the bedrooms. So it just goes over the general information of what they've discovered about the property based on their inspections and appraisal. The next one that's specific to the property is the PCR, or property condition report. So if you click on that for any of the properties, it'll pull it up and it will tell you if they pressure tested the lines, if it holds pressure, if the water heater was functioning. So it's just kind of like a quick rundown of the mechanical systems and what condition they believe for them to be in at the time that the property was listed. Okay, and sometimes the lender will need that information as well. Okay, and all the rest of these are information that have to do with the contract, that have to do with some special programs and just instructions. Okay, so then we can go to the next tab, which is the Maps tab, and that will actually give you a map of where the property is located as compared to the general area. So you can see, for example, here, that this property is actually located really close to Merced College. So here's my red dot here, and where the property is located, and here's Merced College. And then finally, the last tab here is the agent info. And when you click on this, it's just got contact information for everybody. So on the left here, we've got the asset manager, BLB Resources, and then listing broker, Kaley Inc., Julie Kaley, that's myself, and all my contact information, as well as the field service manager, Sentinel Field Services, and all of their contact information, including a 24-hour emergency number. Okay, you can also print a property flyer as well. So I'm just going back to the results of Merced County. So again, the first available one right now for bids is 3841 Claremont Court in Merced. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath over in the college area, offered at $239,000. The second one that we have available is 9434 Paradise Avenue in Delhi. It's priced at $156,000, and it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom. And the third one that we have available in Merced County is 1251 Redwood Avenue, and that's in Atwater, California, 95301, and that's priced at $186,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom, a really large home, about 2,300 square feet with a lot of potential. I actually held an open house on that one last weekend and had quite a few people through. So, but it is still available. So if you're looking in the Merced, Atwater, Delhi area, please be sure to consider one of these properties and at least take a look. We're having an open house at 3841 Claremont Court on Saturday starting at 11. So feel free to stop by if you're interested in looking at that home as well, or give us a call or your realtor of your choice, and they would be happy to show it to you as well. I do have one more property. It's not in Merced County. It's actually up in Mariposa County in Coulterville. I'd like to share that with you as well because it is a nice property. The address is 3182 Chitara Way, and I'm going to click on it just so you can see the actual photos. It is a manufactured home on an acre, and it does have a detached 2-car garage. It was built in 2006, and it's 1,782 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. There is a possibility of a 4th bedroom, but it does not have a closet. So it is a pretty spacious home, and it's in overall good condition. So if you're looking in that area, please consider it. It's offered at $143,520. So I hope you found this information really useful. I'd like to show you one more website, and that is actually, my website, mercedhomesrealty.com. If you come to mercedhomesrealty.com, you'll see that we have a featured property, and it's a HUD listing, the one on Chitara, which we just discussed. So that is right there with the virtual tour. If you want to see any one of my listings, including the HUD listings, you can click on all listings and come right here to virtual tours, and it will give you a virtual tour of any one of the properties that we have listed, including the HUD Homes. So be sure to check on that. Okay, and then just going back. For agents, we have HUD Agent Resources, and if we click on that, we have links to the specific educational material that HUD puts out. And then finally, we have a free photo list. If you click on the free photo list, it does give you a squeeze page where you can input your info right here, just your email and your name. You don't even have to put in your phone number. You hit submit, and then it will automatically email you the free weekly list or the free HUD photo list. It does come out weekly, but there might not always be a property in the Central Valley. So it is grouped with Central Valley, so it's got listings from all over the Central Valley, not just the Merced area. So again, that's mercedhomesrealty.com. That's our homepage. Okay. I really appreciate you tuning in today, and I hope that you found this information useful. We went over the HUD home process, what is a HUD home, and how HUD puts them on the market. And we also talked about our current inventory of HUD homes. If you have questions about anything related to HUD homes, and if you're an agent and want to know how to submit an offer, I'm happy to walk you through that as well. Please feel free to give me a call, 209-385-1200. Or if you're a buyer and have a question about any one of the 4 HUD homes that we discussed today, I'd be happy to speak with you about them and possibly set up an appointment and show it to you. Again, 209-385-1200. My name is Julie Kaley, and the broker license number 014-12616. The broker owner of Merced Homes Realty, located at 920 West 18th Street in Merced. And again, I really appreciate you tuning in. Today is May 25th, 2016, and I hope everybody is having a wonderful day and has a great rest of the week. Thank you.